And there he is, the one and the
Hey.
only Mr. Geoff Tate.
Speaking here.
How are
present.
you doing? Present.
I'm doing good.
Here.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me good?
Yeah, I can hear you. Perfect.
Cool. You know, I got to tell you, man, it's as I was going through, getting ready for the interview and all, it was like a Rolodex of musical memories just coming to me, and it was funny. I was just like, wow, like I shared so many memories of Geoff Tate and Queensryche through the years. Like my second concert ever being Queensryche with Kiss in '84. Being a 15-year-old kid working in a restaurant, washing dishes, listening to the first Queensryche EP for 8 hours nonstop, 4 songs over and over. It was just wild. It was just like, wow, so many amazing memories. And even later in life, seeing you guys and just like having like a musical epiphany, like, holy shit, this is such amazing music. So it was just thank you for those moments of life that I still remember.
Well, thank you. That's a nice trip down memory lane there. Do you remember where the Kiss Queensryche show was?
Philadelphia Spectrum.
Oh, okay. Do you remember me falling down?
Ooh, no.
During that show? Oh, okay. I did a spectacular fall on that tour. They had a really interesting stage setup that had a thrust that started at about 6 feet and then went down towards the audience and ended up to be about a foot off the ground. And so it was sloped. And I really had a difficult time with that, performing on a sloped stage like that. And one night I did a spectacular jump up in the air, land on the ground, but didn't really land right, and ended up falling and then rolling down the entire length of the thrust onto the ground below. And followed me the whole way down. It was spectacular. And I leapt up. I'm okay. And the crowd cheered. It was an amazing moment. I just wish I had a football in my hand or something, like that.
Hey, at least it was before the days of cell phones and it wasn't caught on camera, right?
Yeah, and following me around the rest of my life, like other things I've done.
Oh, man. So, I mean, you've come a long way. New albums out, new reality. And I got to tell you, like, and right off the bat, like, and I was just listening to it before you called in, there's a song that just jumps out at me. I think it's such a beautiful song, and it's A Guitar in Church.
Mm-hmm. You like that one, huh?
Yeah. Especially since there's not a lot of guitar in it.
There's no guitar in it.
Yes. So, with doing like these concept albums, is there any chance, like, no, I know you're putting like the story to music and all, but doing like books to accompany this, like later on in life or something like that, or?
Well, writing a book is a whole lot more work than writing like lyrics to a song. I tell you, I think maybe you have, a couple paragraphs to a song and then repeats of the words, and with a book, that's thousands and thousands of words. Boy,
yeah,
that sounds like a
repeat.
chore. I have a lot of respect for people who write books, I tell you. I don't know, maybe in my really old age, because I have to stop saying old age because I'm at that point now, so I have to say in my older age, maybe I'll do something like that.
Yeah, I just, with doing the concept albums, I just always felt like, wow, like, because you got to really, I guess, approach it so differently, don't you? Like, from the lyrical standpoint, like, keeping the story at a pace.
Yeah, you have to sort of pace it, to pace the music to fit. You have to choose the right music for the right moment. And you have to get from point A to point B, which is really challenging, I think. Yeah, it's a big job, but I enjoy it. I like to create these sort of puzzle pieces, if you will,
right?
Where things all kind of come together at some point, and maybe from a number of different angles or a number of different musical perspectives. I like to bring things home to a point. So yeah, it's one of the things I enjoy about music writing, which is just one of the many things. I love it, actually.
Now, I guess it would almost kind of be like doing like a score to a soundtrack, almost to a point too, as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah, there's similarities in scoring. I worked on a film. What was it called? It was an Arnold Schwarzenegger film years ago with Michael Kamen, who was working pretty closely with my band Queensryche at the time. And Last Action Hero, yeah. And we worked with him scoring that film. And it was really an interesting process, to match a melody and, to a scene and having them reoccurring, kind of like you assign a melody or an instrument to a different character in the film, and then every time that character shows up, you have that melody appear again, or that sound, that instrument, and that sort of represents the character, and you try to put the instrument or the melody in different situations each time to make it interesting. But yeah, there's a lot of really neat things about scoring.
Yeah, it sounds cool. It sounds tedious though.
Yeah, it's detail oriented. Yeah.
Nice. Now, actually, I saw the plan for 2018 is do a lot of touring now behind this album. Seems like you won't be doing the States though until later in the year. Yeah,
somewhere around summertime. I think August, something like that, is the plan for North America. Yeah, it just takes me a while to get everywhere. It's a big world.
Now, the thing that was kind of surprising too was it sounded like in the future musically, like you're kind of uncertain, like a direction to go.
I am every time I finish a project. Yeah, I never really know what I'm going to do until I do. And then when something hits you, something sparks your interest and sets you off in some direction that you find yourself in, and then, a year later, you've got this music that you've written over the time period, or whatever, and there's always this drifting feeling that you have. I have, at least. I've talked to other musicians too that are writers, and you don't know what you're doing. You're in kind of like a sponge mode, where you're just kind of soaking stuff up and seeing what interests you. There's a lot of interesting stuff though nowadays. We're living in a very interesting time. It's just unprecedented time, really. Fascinating.
It really is. It's a treat. Watching the news at night just kind of makes you scratch your head, like, wow.
Yeah, well, it's everything's coming up front for us now. It's like you're talking about the age of cell phones and video recording and that kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, it's on us now. We're kind of face to face with the big mirror, looking at ourselves objectively and critically, And it's just kind of, I think it's one of those growth periods in human history where we're moving into a new area now, a new reality, if you will, of what things are going to be like, and new rules are being drawn up, and new lines in the sand, and new ways of operating. It's like a reboot of the operating system. It's like we're pushing all these old ideas away finally, and moving on. Like at one time it was okay and acceptable to own people, to have slaves, and now we look at that, with our 21st century eyes, and we say, well, that's ridiculous. How could people even think that way? What were they thinking? What primitive people, what primitive minds they must have been, and that goes for so many situations, like women voting, women in the workplace. That was unheard of. And now we look at that with our 21st century eyes, and we say, of course, why can't women be part of the workplace? They're a very important part of society, Yeah. And we're looking at all those situations now with critical eyes and figuring out, well, who are we? What do we believe? And it's not just individuals doing this; it's our country. The whole America is looking at itself critically, and the world is looking at itself critically too. Everybody's growing to a certain extent, and it's exciting. Yeah,
it's definitely it's really interesting, and it's maybe like I guess technology got ahead of us, and now we're like trying to catch up with that to even things out and like really right some wrongs finally.
Well, I think anybody that believes that things are going to remain the same is really looking at life and existence unrealistically. I mean, we're busy little humans. We're moving fast. We're changing things up. And technology, communication technology specifically, is just giving us this hard look,
Right.
at what we are. And we're looking at stories that are happening around the world in real time now, where before it would take months for stories to sort of circulate through society. Now it's a matter of hours, and everybody's talking about the same subject, and it's like a world dialogue, a world conversation that's going on. And man, it's exciting and fascinating, as long as everybody keeps their head and doesn't get so emotionally tied up in things. That's the trick, I think, is try to be objective and look at things rationally.
It's kind of funny you said that. Like right away, I just thought to myself, like, back in the days of the print magazines where they were such a huge part of the music industry. I guess like back then it was kind of the norm where you say you did an interview back then for Circus magazine, and then it would take like a 4-month turnaround for that interview to finally hit. And now it's just like you do an interview and boom, 24 hours it's out there.
Oh yeah, and you do an interview the next day, and the journalists are asking you about what you said yesterday.
Yeah,
just immediately. Yeah, it's all different now. It's all changed.
Do you like the process now, where it's more instant, or did you like that little lull or that little break in between?
Well, I think it's just what you get used to, and that's I think a valley that we often get stuck in, is we get comfortable doing something a certain way or living a certain way, having the job that we started out with that we really like. Well, everything changes. I mean, you cannot keep and expect this to have the same job that you had, 10 years from now. You can't expect it. It's an impossibility. Everything's changing, and people get so worked up. Well, they're taking our jobs away. Yeah, they're going to do that. I mean, that's inevitable. We live in a capitalistic society, and what's the number one rule of capitalism? Make money, right? Make money no matter what. No matter what. And that means if you lose your job, well, that's part of the society you choose to live in. You don't like it, go someplace else or vote to change it,
Yeah, if the vote will count, like with the whole net neutrality thing yesterday, everybody's freaking out.
Yeah, well, they should have freaked out, 4 months ago when they were talking about this, or nobody was talking about it actually, and it snuck up on us now, And guess what? Everything's changing, and the way we've been accustomed to, living with the internet is radically going to change here, and it's because of capitalism. We love it. That's what we were here for. That's what America was built on. And if that's got to change, then it will change. If it doesn't, and people still embrace the idea of winning no matter what, no matter who suffers or who gets hurt, well, peace. That's the way it is, because that's the consensus of the many.
Yeah, it's scary. It's scary what's going to happen.
Very rock and roll, is it?
Hey, you know what? I mean, but it's different though, because how many times can you answer the same stuff over and over? Like, I mean, how many times do you get asked about Queensryche and people ask you about the breakup? I mean, it's the same thing over and over, isn't it?
Yeah. Or here's the big one. Why'd I cut my hair? I had such pretty hair. Why'd you cut it? You look better with your hair longer.
Come on, really?
What?
You actually
What's that got to do with the music I'm writing? What's that got to do with anything? Well, it's important to some people, I suppose.
Wow. There you go. The hairstyles of Geoff Tate. Why?
Yes.
Or how about, why do you have a goatee now? Why did you decide to go around with a goatee?
Yeah, or why did you go to A sharp on that fourth bar of that particular song? Because I wanted to. It sounded good to me. I can even ask a question like that. Now,
Oh,
if you want to see something interesting, funny, humorous, check out my hairstyles over the years. And I have lately, because I've been making this sort of commercial of my life for this project I'm working on, and I have to take these photographs of myself and upload them into a video, And I tell you, you look at 37 years of being, in the band and traveling around the world and people taking photographs of you. I've got some pretty interesting hairstyles over the years. Wow.
Which was
I don't
your
look
favorite?
the same in any photo. Oh, I don't know. I don't really have a favorite. Having no hair is incredibly comfortable, for one. I mean, there's no muss, no fuss. You can get right to your day. It's sort of that concept like, was it Einstein who had all the same clothes, hanging in his closet, so he didn't have to like mix and match or think about what he was going to wear that day. He just wore the same thing, And having no hair is kind of like that. You don't have to, worry about styling it or what it's going to do in the rain or the wind or whatever,
Yeah, it's funny, like years and years of long hair, and then when I finally cut it off, I was like, wow, like this is what I've been missing all these years. It's so easy.
Yeah. Well, you have all that, expensive hair products, and you have the mechanics of the tools you need to style it, the blow dryers and the curlers or whatever, And, man, it cuts into a big part of your day. You spend like 20, 30 minutes dealing with it every day. And then, all through the day you're fussing with it and, screwing around with it where you could be doing other things, like making music or writing something or working, or working. Anyway,
now,
this is a really good justification for balding, huh?
Oh boy! Now, did I see too? You have a.
I like to say that I'm not bald. I'm just shaved. There's a difference.
You do the self shave.
Oh yeah. Well, there's a difference between being bald, which is loss of hair, and there's a difference between that and shaving your hair. Shaving your head.
Oh boy.
I think there is. Isn't there?
Oh, huge, big time.
Yeah.
When you're doing it on your own free will, it's a lot. It means more.
I guess what I'm saying is I do have a choice. I could grow it out, which takes months, or just shave it off because it's easy and looks good every day.
So now,
how do we get on this topic? I brought this topic up, didn't I?
You brought it up.
I know. I can't believe I brought it up. Okay. What do you want to talk about?
Did I see you have a new song coming out, like a separate single that you did for charity?
Yeah, I did. I do. Yeah, it's a song called "The Way the Wind Blows," and it's a song that I'm giving to charity, a specific charity. It's a charity called Mercy Watch, which focuses on the homeless situation in America, and it all the proceeds of the song royalties will go to Mercy Watch and funding their incredible project, which is doctors and healthcare professionals and counselors that actually go out and do street work and find homeless people and counsel with them and try to help them become part of the capitalistic system, the one we all love.
to get the people off the streets and back into the world of capitalism and
yeah.
They might fight you on it, but it's
I think a lot of them do. A lot of people choose that life, and a lot of people don't. There's a lot of mental illness out there. In fact, it's what I found dealing with Mercy Watch is it seems to be about 50-50. Mental illness and addiction are the two problems specifically with people, and they just get to a point where they can't function and they have to do something, and the only way the only thing they can do is hit the street.
Right.
It's a sad epidemic, and I use the word epidemic on purpose because it's something that everyone in the country is experiencing, not just the people that are homelessness or experiencing homelessness, but everybody else too, is having to see them and deal with them and the feelings you have. What do I do? Do I give them change, or is that adding to the problem? And, it's this constant daily struggle that we all face, and is that going to be me soon out there with them? Am I going to end up in a tent somewhere because I can't pay for the health care that I need, because again, we live in this capitalistic society who, people got to win and make money no matter what. And you can't win if you're giving away money to social welfare,
Yeah, it's
See, there's a theme, isn't there? I'm going with here.
Absolutely. So we get from hairstyle to the decision on what to do for the homeless.
Yes, all in the space of a minute.
How about that? Now, what is the song? Is it? Was it like something that was going to be on this album, on the New Reality, or just a separate song?
No, I live in a city, and I am faced with homelessness every day. Massive homeless population in the city I live in, and it's just something that got to me, And I met a man named Dennis Kelly, who's in charge of and put together Mercy Watch, and we became friends and talking about the issue and the problem and the challenges. And I just found it to be a situation that needed to have something done to it. So recently I played a concert and raised money for Mercy Watch, and also I'm donating this song. I haven't released it yet. It's close to being finished. But the song came out of my experience with observing and firsthand being affected by the homeless population in my town. It's not the first time I've done something like that. I wrote a song years ago on the Empire album about a homeless woman that I knew who lived in the doorway of the building next to me. Her name was Della Brown, and I wrote a song about her situation and my observation of her situation.
Oh, wow. Huh. And that's kind of wild that, like, you first name, like, basis, you knew her, and all these years later, you're still, she kind of left a mark with you.
Yeah, well, she did, because I saw her every day and talked to her, and then, for several years, and then one day she was gone and never saw her again. Didn't know what happened to her. Nobody knew. Just one of those weird mysteries, that happens, and always wondered, what became of her.
Wow. Now you got me wondering.
Yeah, I know.
It's such a crazy situation. It really is. Like, when you see them, the homeless, like, you walk by them, and you really do. It's the first thing you ask yourself, like, do I give them money? Like, are they going to use it for something that they shouldn't be doing? Like, what do you do? Like, it's such a... You're struggling with it in your head before you even, like, get near them.
Yeah, and then you feel guilty about whichever decision you make,
Right.
You feel callous because you didn't help, and you feel helpless when you do, It's an odd situation, and there's no easy answer for it. That's the other thing. It's a complex, compounded problem that faces our society. And it's not something we can really, sweep under the rug anymore. It's just in our face all the time.
Yeah.
And it's not just localized. It's everywhere in the country, I was talking to somebody in Hawaii. Last week on an interview, and they were saying they have a massive homeless problem in Honolulu. And I can see that, because if I was homeless, I'd try to go someplace warm, where I could live on the street comfortably, and I wouldn't be in Seattle or Minnesota or Chicago or someplace like that if I could help it, Well.
Oh, boy. So I guess right now you're just enjoying life at home with the family and the holidays, and then early next year you kick off on tour? Or?
Yeah. Well, I have a big family. I've got 5 daughters and grandkids now, and their husbands and all that in-laws and everything. So we have a big Christmas at our place, and then we're gearing up to actually start the tour. My first date is January 11th in Dublin, so it's right around the corner, and be taking off just right after Christmas to go to Dublin to rehearse for a week with the band and start the tour. So it's pretty hectic around here between, Christmas shopping and album coming out and tour preparations. It's
right.
hectic.
Now, who's going to be in the touring band? Is it everybody that was on the album, or?
Some of the people that were on the album are going to be on the tour. I keep changing my band around, which is really fun. I get to work with all these new people all the time, which I really like. I've got Scott Motton on guitar is joining me. Kelly Gray is on the road with me this time too. I've got Kieran Robertson on guitar, who I've been working with over the last year. A really talented young Scottish guitar player. Josh Watts, a English drummer, fantastic drummer, joining me. I've got Bruno Sa from Rio de Janeiro on keyboards and guitar and saxophone. And it's a fantastic band. And actually, we're doing the 30-year anniversary of the first Operation Mindcrime album, and performing that album in its entirety for the first part of the show. And for those familiar with the album, there's a wonderful track on the album called Sweet Sister Mary, and it has a really strong female vocal part in it that my daughter Emily is going to sing with me.
Oh, nice!
So I'm really, really excited about that, because we haven't sung together on stage since she was a little kid and joined me on an album tour called American Soldier, and she sang a song with me, and that was like 2009 or 10, something like that. So this is she's all grown up now, and she has a band called Till Death Do Us Part, which is a fantastic band, and they've got a new album out, and they're going to be opening the shows for us.
Oh, cool. Now, like with that, with your daughter wanting to follow in your footsteps, did you encourage, or knowing what the music business is like try to maybe you want to choose something else?
Well, a couple things about her. Her name's Emily, and she was really into music as a kid. And she came to me one day and she said, "Can I play the music in your collection?" And I said, "Yeah, just take whatever you want." And she took it all. She took the album I had and just went through everything. She got like this, A to Z of history of rock, and just absorbed it all. And then when she was 9, I asked her to sing this duet part with me on a song called Home Again on the American Soldier album. And it was great working with her. She really, was a very eager learner. And then she went out on the road and toured America with me on that tour. And then, I didn't think anything past that, or she didn't make any more sort of moves, as far as being a musician. And then I think it was last year, I was sitting in my living room reading the newspaper, and she walked in. She goes, "Hey, you want to hear my new CD?" And I thought she meant something she bought, and I go, "Oh, yeah, sure." She tosses me the CD, and I look on the cover, and it's her face. I go, "You made a CD?" She goes, "Yeah, it's my first album. Listen to it and tell me what you think." So I had no idea she was making this record, and she didn't tell me about it. And so I put the record on, and I was really surprised. It's great. It's really good stuff. So I'm having her come out and tour Europe with me this year, so I'm looking forward to that.
That's pretty awesome though. Like she didn't, Like she didn't rely on Dad to help me do this. Like she did it, went totally under the radar and surprised you. That's freaking awesome.
Well, I'm really actually happy she did it that way, because, it's her own stuff. It's her own art. Yeah. And she didn't feel like, she needed to ask my permission or my direction on it. She just followed her heart. And to me, that's the most honest art there is when you make it yourself,
Yeah.
And she did that. And that, she didn't come and say, "Hey, can you write a song for me? Nothing like that. It was all her. So it's really her own effort and her own viewpoints and, her own perspective on the world, which I really respect.
That's awesome. Proud Papa moment, right?
Yeah.
Oh, so in January you're out of the country. You leave us and you go over there in Europe, and the Tates will be rocking Europe.
Yep, we're taking it over, and really looking forward to it. It's going to be a fun year touring. In fact, I'm kind of dedicating myself to trying to get everywhere in this next year. Really touring a lot and trying to go to every place I possibly can. I've been to 62 countries now.
Holy cow.
I'm going to try to add a couple countries to my big list here this year, I hope.
Wow. That's a lot.
Yeah.
It is a lot.
It is a lot. It's a lot, and it takes a long time to get everywhere,
Do you get to enjoy any of it, or is it just a lot of sitting around and waiting once you get there?
Well, yeah, there's a little bit of that, because it just takes touring. It takes time, to get from A to B, and then you get there and you got to set up all the gear and, do your sound checks and rehearse parts of the show. And, you're there for the day, and then you leave and go on to the next place. It's a never ending, road trip. It just goes on and on and on.
So 2018 will be the never-ending road trip, and then I guess 2019, Geoff Tate will sleep and relax.
Yes. Oh, I have no problem sleeping. I sleep real easily. I'm very happy about that. Never had a problem with that.
Now, while you're out touring and all, are you like constantly writing too, or do you wait until you get off the road?
No, I'm kind of like one of those guys that likes to work every day on it. I carry a small studio system with me, and wherever I go, so I can work and set up. I can set up in 5 minutes and be ready to go. So yeah, I like to do that. It beats sitting around watching TV. It gives me something to do.
But there's so much quality television on right now. What are you talking about?
I wouldn't know. Missed it. People ask me all the time, like you're in conversations with people and they reference a TV show, like Seinfeld or something like that. Remember that show where blah, 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 blah? And I don't. I never saw one episode of Seinfeld, so I have no reference,
really?
to what they're talking about. Yeah.
Holy cow. Well, in between Christmas shopping and all that, check out a couple episodes of Seinfeld. You might enjoy some laughs.
Yeah. That's what people tell me I'm missing out.
And then you'll get sucked in, and then you'll be like, see, what'd you do to me?
Yeah. Well, I went and saw Star Wars last night, the new Star Wars film. And I fell asleep. Darn it.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm that guy in the movie who, in the quiet scene, is snoring. My wife is elbowing me. Wake up! You paid $22 to see this, and you're sleeping.
Oh, too funny, too freaking funny. So, all right, so let's get the plugs out there. Where should everybody go to get the new album, New Reality? Where's the best place to go for everybody?
Gosh, I don't know. I don't know where people buy that stuff anymore. Apple, iTunes. That's where I get all my stuff, really. So I don't know. Wherever you buy music, it's there, I'm sure. And you can find out more, of course, on the Geoff Tate Facebook and geofftate.com, or Operation Mindcrime Facebook, or operationmindcrime.com. It's all that information's there. All our touring schedules too. So if we're coming to your town, come by and say hi.
Absolutely. Hope to see you in Philadelphia again next year.
Yeah, I love Philadelphia. It's a wonderful city. We recorded part of the Operation Mindcrime album there, the first one.
Really?
Yeah, in a studio that I don't think is there anymore. It's called Victory Studios.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, a lot of stuff in Philly has changed, too, especially involving music.
Oh, sure. Yeah, everything's changed. That's a weird thing. Like if you go on tour for a year and you come back, things are different in the city you live in. Like I went to go to my favorite restaurant, and the whole city block had been taken down, and they were building a high-rise there.
Holy cow.
Wow. Radical.
Wow. That's something like people don't even probably think of. Like, they're thinking, oh yeah, you guys are out living the life and being rock stars and this and that, and then they don't realize, like, well, you come back home and everything's different.
Yeah, things really change quick, over a year. It's crazy. Wow. Yeah, but Philadelphia definitely on the radar for the upcoming tour, and we'll be there probably in the summer. So when it's nice and humid and hot, come see us.
Come sweat with Geoff Tate.
That's right.
Nice. Well, hey, Geoff, hey man, seriously, honor talking to you. Glad we got to do this. Hope you and the family have an amazing Christmas and safe travels for the new year.
Thank you. And thank you for the interview, and happy holidays to you too. Take care.
You too, man. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.